5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Hey guys, welcome back to the In and Out Talks podcast. I'm here with today's special guest, the one and only, my former childhood friend, Brett Wright.
What's going on, man?
And I appreciate you getting on this podcast with us, man.
Appreciate you coming, man.
Means a whole lot. I'm glad that I'm out here at the Lions Den out in Kingwood and we get to do our own thing. But first off, dude, tell me how someone like you ended up getting into baseball, being that you were so gifted in multiple sports.
I think the best thing I could say was I had a good support around me with other friends that I hung out with, that their dads kind of introduced like the select baseball side to me, since my parents really didn't play any sports. I had a lot of parents and coaches that kind of took me in on that side, like taking me to tournaments, taking me to hotels, paying for my team and stuff. That really kind of opened the door for me, I think. But it all kind of started with T-ball. I hit 21 home runs as a T-ball guy with a dad that didn't know what he was doing.
It's a huge stat line.
And that's really kind of how it started right there.
So when we were growing up together, dude, I always remember you and Coach Jeremy at the time, your dad. He was always like the fun guy, and he was always having a good time in coaching. But like you and yourself were always a stand apart. You know, there was certain guys like, you know, me, you, Duke off, Ty. We all kind of stood out in those teams. Was that so more so like you just being a gamer and you've always loved playing baseball, or do you think like I had a natural like proclivity for it, or I really grind and worked behind the closed doors?
I feel like I had like the natural athletic part down, and then just kind of like what you said, me, you, Dukoff, Ty, all those, we all stayed together. And then we knew that our parents, that's what I think is crazy, is how our parents knew early on how to get us all together. Yeah. And that we all ended up making it. Yeah, that's what blows my mind.
Yeah,
like, man, how did they had it going on really good early.
Yeah, no, we had a really good team.
But like I never really worked outside. Like I didn't do the lessons. I didn't like train in my house. I didn't do none of that. But my dad kept me involved with other sports, and I feel like that's very important too. Like you learn a lot more athletic stuff with football, basketball season. But like my dad being the fun guy, what he was always really good at was like when times get rough or like bad stuff, he always making us laugh.
Yeah, no, he's
and
funny.
that's something that I take into my coaching is like whenever these kids get stressed out, at the end of the day, my dad would say something funny to get me to laugh, to get over what I was doing and kind of just flush it, wash it out. That was it. Now that I'm older, now I understand why he was doing that.
No, yeah, and you really have no clue as a kid. You kind of just like you're going through the motions, and you just play to win, and then something doesn't go your way, you get super upset, and you know having somebody to be able to like put you back at your starting place, and especially without like necessarily getting onto you is a huge thing. But you were a 3-year letterman for football in high school.
Yep.
When did you decide to find out like, hey, baseball's my calling versus like football? Because Texas, glory goes to all football players.
Yeah. Man, that was a tough one because I really enjoyed football more. I like both of them the most. It was whenever it was football season, I love football. Whenever football season's over, I was ready for baseball. But just being at a smaller school, we weren't really fortunate with having too many great players. So like I had an opportunity as a freshman to play varsity.
Yeah.
And that kind of just gave me the motivation and the excitement to, hey, this is pretty fun playing with guys that are 4 or 3 years older than me for the whole first half of the season or the school year. And then I go into freshman baseball, and now I'm used to playing with those older guys and hanging out with them. So it was like an easier transition to go into the varsity baseball as well.
So when did you get serious going like, hey, I'm gonna go play college baseball? Like when did you have it in your mind that that's what you wanted to do?
12 or 13 years old. We went to a select baseball World Series tournament in Nebraska, in Omaha. And my coach at the time was David Denny. He played at Texas.
Rockhounds, baby.
And then we go watch one of his old players at Texas. I think his name was Alex Wood. He's pitching against LSU that night. But I remember being on the first base side at the College Series, watching them warm up, and I was seeing these guys from LSU play catch from the foul line to the center field wall. And at that time, I thought that was the craziest thing I've ever seen, a guy throwing the ball that far.
That's right.
And then that
Long
very
toss.
first inning, I think it was Mason Katz, maybe, I think, dude made an opening first inning dive and play. And I was like, I want to go to LSU. And then I want to play here. And that was another thing, too, is like when we played, we got trophies.
That's
We
right.
didn't get rings.
You get rings, nope.
And you only got a ring if you won like a big PG tournament or if you went to college. And that was always like a dream. I was like, I've always just wanted a huge ring, a championship ring. And the only way you can get that is you go play college baseball or win a state championship in high school.
That's right.
100%.
100%.
We were a little far off on the high school part, but definitely wanted the college ring, and that was kind of like my motivation.
So at the age of 12 or 13, you decided you wanted to go play college ball, and then you ended up in high school being a football, baseball, dual sport athlete, all district, newcomer of the year, defensive player of the year twice. Like what things did you do to achieve those feats? Like what did you do practicing wise, or what do you think helped set you apart? Because we had a tough district.
Yeah, we did.
I was in there.
District.
I was in there too. So
Yeah, I think it was just like my freshman year, we had two guys that were like All-Americans throwing in the 90s, catching those guys. And then we also had guys that came back. His name was Jordan Harrison. He was in college at the time, so whenever he would come back in the off-season, which is about January, February, or December, I would catch his bullpen. So I was catching a college guy as a freshman in high school, and he was really good, ended up getting drafted, played 7 years in minor league baseball. So I feel like catching those guys early really made it easier for me to kind of develop and handle those guys. Then I had 3 years after that to do that.
Mhm.
And then it was kind of, I'd say cake, but those guys really helped me a lot my freshman year, and then catching the older guys. And that's kind of like with the Lions, and that I think is really important. It's like we have guys that throw here that are really good, pro guys, college guys, high school guys, and we have these catchers catching them. I'm like, man, if they do this for 4 years, there's no telling how good they're, just because of what I felt, that
100%.
really helped me out a lot.
No, I think that brings something because I guess it kind of attributes to your own personality. Is I think watching you grow up and us growing up together is you were always you were always trying to get with the next best person.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, like, for example, when we were on the Houston Heat and, we had the Koliks come, baby Kolik, Steven throws like 90, but Tyler,
yeah.
big dog, who's our age, is throwing 100. You were the first person. I remember you were the first person that goes, I want to catch you.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I want to catch him.
I knew the opportunity that would
I'd
come.
never seen 100. I was like, I want to catch him. I was like, I'm looking at you. I'm like,
Crazy.
bro, we've never seen 100. So like, I don't know.
At that time, it was unheard of.
I'm an alpha. The last thing I want to do is catch 100.
Mhm.
But I do want to face 100.
Yeah.
So that's like, I do want to face 100. So, I wouldn't mind, like, Tyler's throwing a bullpen to you. I see y'all on the side. I'm standing kind of right there next to it.
Mhm.
Not swinging, but like I'm watching it and you come in. I'm like, and you kind of feel like this is where we need to be.
Yep.
And you being exposed to those situations, being the younger guy, proving yourself up. Some kids might shy away from that,
Mhm.
but you always put your first foot forward, and I think that helps you develop. And like you said, that helps you develop, become a really good catcher. Because subconsciously now you're trying to compete with these guys. You're
Yep.
like, I got to stay here.
Mhm.
So what do I got to do to stay with these guys? Maybe it's not so technical that you're like, oh, I need to work on my pop time, or I need to do
Yeah.
this, right? It's more just so if I want to stay and hang with these guys, I got to be with these guys.
Yep. And I feel like that too. I was like, as a freshman hanging out, I was always hanging out with guys 3 years older than me, and they're obviously going to be better because they're 3 years older. So you kind of hang out with people, or like our select teams. Like I feel like I was never really the best, but I always wanted to be on the team that had the best players or the best pitchers, and I wanted to catch those guys.
100%.
Same thing with Tyler. Like I knew a guy throwing 100 miles an hour, I knew the attention that it would bring. And me being from a small town, being kind of like a smaller guy on the showcase side, with my size, my weight, my speed, couldn't really hit bombs in batting practice. But like I knew that if I caught those guys well, they brought a crowd. That was where I was going to get my opportunity.
Yeah, and you're exposure.
And I took pride in that. And it was like not necessarily, I didn't think about like my skill set. I didn't think about how I received the ball or how my hitting was. It was just like, if I can make these guys win, we play more games. We play more games, I get more looks.
100%.
And that's how I really believe it should go.
Truly, like an unselfish way to play the game while selfishly benefiting
Yep.
yourself.
Exactly.
One of the best ways to play the game, I think, in and of itself. So how did that mentality, how'd you end up at San Jack, I should say?
Ended up at San Jack due to bad grades. Bad SAT scores.
Your road is not like most other people.
Yeah,
You have the
it
most
was,
unorthodox
it was
ways.
crazy. Big learning curve. Had a good fall in school, and then like I just immature. I didn't know. I thought as a college baseball player, as a freshman, I'm like, all right, I don't have to go to school. or classes because we're playing all these games.
Right.
So like I ended up having academic probation, fell out of there. But how I got there was I did area code tryout, and Jimmy Durham, he called.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the first guy that kind of contacted me. And then my cousin at the time, she used to date a guy that went to San Jac. His name was Chris Miller.
Okay.
And he was like, they actually called this dude Daddy at San Jac. He was that good. They called him Daddy.
He was that dominant.
That good, man.
All right.
And so, like, I always knew
You
that
never
he was
hate on
like,
Daddy.
he was from New Caney, and he went to San Jac. So, like, I looked up to him, Jordan Harrison, like Adam Dunn. Like, those are the guys that were before me. And I was like, well, I want the same career they did. And you just try to follow the same path. And I always heard good things about San Jac, always been competitive. I go there, and that's really where it started, man.
Oh, dang. I mean, Coach Harrington is.
Oh,
He's a
Tom
beast.
Harrington, that's a
Yeah.
big, crazy dude, man.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. So I got your stat line when you were at JUCO at San Jac.
Oh, nice.
Right. So 284, 420, 411. So batting average, obviously the power stat behind your batting average, and then on base percentage. Pretty good stat line.
Okay.
And that was, I think, your first year. And then your second year, you did it again.
Really?
Damn near.
Honestly, I don't know my junior college stats. I know I hit 4 bombs each year. I know that.
I knew you had a couple bombs. I remember seeing them on social media. I'm like, oh, Brett's doing well, you know. But one thing I wanted to ask you was JUCO. Being a JUCO bandit, it's tough. It's a grind. How do you stay consistent in such a place where it's so easy, like you said, to get on academic probation, see all those distractions, do everything? It's very easy for you to lose sight of the end goal in JUCO. How was that for you?
I think that was a lot had to do that with my dad. Because you do get exposed to a lot of elements in college, just being away from home.
And adult elements, yeah.
Yeah, like I saw a lot of things I probably shouldn't have seen, and some stuff that you get put around that you don't have any control of.
Yeah.
And then you're living in an area you're not familiar with, and it just really goes down to your like core values as a person or what you grew up as. And like I remember calling my dad.
Wait, it's my closer. Yeah. Good. That's good.
And I was like, hey man, like all this is what I'm seeing. This is what's going on. And he said like, it doesn't matter. Like you still got to do your job. Still got to show up every day. You can either choose to let that distract you and you can follow that path, or you can choose the other road and do what you got to do and stay consistent. And there was always guys that were better than me too. And then I didn't get discouraged where I was like, all right, I'm just going to stop working since there's no chance. Even when they took my scholarship away, and then there was 2 dudes in front of me that had full rides that were like highly ranked out of high school. But it was just like the character of how you show up every day, how you do your work, and then how you take care of your staff. You know, I was never the best player that we had or catcher. I was never guaranteed the number 1 spot. But what I took pride in was like taking care of my pitchers, being cool with them, like learning them,
Good chemistry,
getting them to want to throw to me, you know,
Right.
and then like, what can I do to make them better? And that's what I liked about college was it's not about who's the best or who has the most scholarship necessarily. It's like who's going to win games, because that college coach, he gets fired if he don't win. So it doesn't matter what your scholarship is. Yeah, those guys get first opportunities, but you're going to get your chance, and you just don't want to give it back.
So that's actually pretty interesting. So you take like more like a psychological approach to
yeah.
your success.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that's talked about hardly ever.
Yeah, it is all mental.
Yeah, and mostly because I think catchers have a very strong bond. Catchers and pitchers have the strongest bonds on the team.
Yep.
Like if your catcher and your pitcher are out of
The
sync,
battery,
like
man.
good luck with the game, right? So I mean, I think that's something that doesn't get talked about much. You having chemistry and a psychological balance with your pitchers, multiple pitchers, to where they're comfortable to throw to you. And I mean, I can see it, like, you know, when you get your backup guy because your starter came out on Friday and Saturday, so you got to give him a break Sunday. You'll probably go DH, and then you know you see your Sunday guy who probably usually a younger guy, and he doesn't have that experience with that backup catcher, and all of a sudden, like, you know, that pitch that he throws across the plate right there, that's like money for him. That's kind of a ball.
Yep.
And the correlation's off, or worse, it's something you don't want to see, especially if you're in center field, is your pitcher shaking.
Yeah.
Like,
I know y'all see that.
yeah, and I'm just like, my glove immediately goes to my mouth. I go,
Yeah.
oh, like,
Can't shake.
like, I was like, why? Like, why? I was like, because then my first question goes, is he shaking the catcher or is he shaking the coach?
Yep.
And I was like, and sometimes they don't know.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, I know some teams are just like, don't you ever shake me.
Yep.
You know, like you could, and I know some pitchers shake just to get the same call, just to mix up the looks. So there's a whole mentality going on. But the psychological aspect of you forming a chemistry related close bond, I think actually has a deeper role to play down the line towards playoffs. because I think we all know this saying, it's not the best team that wins the World Series. It's the hottest team at the time. All right. And if you're on par, and I think it starts with catcher and pitcher because your whole your fielders can be out of sync. Like, it's very rare when all 9 guys on the field are in sync, but starting with position number 1, position number 2, catcher and pitcher, they can do it all by themselves, and the other 7 guys don't have to touch the ball.
Absolutely.
And that can draw us in and get me into, oh, now we're on the same page. Or like, Cam and Brett got it on today. They're bringing it on today. I hadn't seen a fly ball in 6 innings. And now I'm locked in just because like I want a bit of attention.
I've been on some teams that were like that were the best talented teams I've been on, and we were never any good just because like the chemistry wasn't right. We've been on teams that were just really subpar, just scrappy guys that just come together at the right time, and we kind of play for each other, and then that's really what it's about. Those are the best teams I play on.
And I've seen that happen. I've had that happen to me in 3 ways. One is summer ball. You just get a bunch of ragtag dudes from a bunch of D1 schools that come together, and a lot of them don't want to be here. A lot of them do want to be here. Some people have a lot to prove. Some people are just like, I'm just here to get my pitches, my swings, I'm out. And then, I've had it when I was in the NECBL, and, we go, none of us wanted to be there, dude. I'm coming off 60 games. Dude. I'm hanging on by a thread. And I got to throw another 4. I got to play another 40, play another 40. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to survive. And then we're just like, guys, if we lose, like, we'll go home early. And next thing you know, we're in the championship.
Like, no, what are we doing?
Next thing you know, we're so good. We're in the championship. Like,
it's like, we can't wait to go home, but then there's like that rubber match. It's like, all right, we win this, we keep going, and then the competitor, and you're like, well, these games finally mean something.
Yeah, I'm not going to lay down now. I'm like,
I'm already here.
It's like, if this guy next to me wants to give it up, fine. But it's not going to be me.
I'm not saying it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say, exactly. That's how it would be. And then other times you can have like a crowd or maybe like a bad coach pull your team together chemistry-wise. I've seen plenty of guys go, they're like, oh, I don't play for my coach. I play for my guys next to me. I've seen that also happen. And then, like you said, I've seen teams where like, when we went to the regional in South Carolina at URI, like, I think my junior year, the team after that team, we were way more talented, but our chemistry was.
Yeah, it's all about chemistry.
We had guys bickering. There was internal conflict, and bro, we didn't even sniff it out the tournament after the conference tournament. I was like, man, like that was disappointing. Yeah. So, how did that end you? How did you end up landing in Auburn?
Landed in Auburn. Yeah, War Eagle. Coming off my academic probation. You need a 2.5 to transfer to a Division I. I had like a 1.9. I had really good coaches, Eric Weaver, Corey Kohler, and obviously Tom Arrington. But Eric Weaver and Corey Kohler really helped me the most. I had to take a year off, redo my classes. And then when I came back for my 3rd year at San Jac, I was like, hey, man, this is my goal. And I had a good relationship. This is my 3rd year with them. And they just told me what I needed to do.
So you were looking to go forward baseball. Were they talking to you at this time?
No, I showed up to my San Jac, my 3rd year, with no scholarship. I was staying the night at an apartment with somebody, and they were like, look, you're probably not going to play. Like, we had 2 6'4" left-handed hitting catchers in front of me. One guy was a transfer from North Carolina, the other guy was like a #1 PG guy out of high school.
So some dudes,
and I was like, man, I can't do that. So, like, I had a bad, immature way of thinking about it, but I was just there to have fun. I was like, hey, like, I spent 6 months at home. I was umpiring. My parents didn't say nothing to me. I was kind of just in a bad spot. And then one day I got like this urge. I was like, I'm going to go back up there to practice and hang out with the guys. That's what I miss. I miss the guys. So I went to their apartment. We were playing video games, hanging out. And then whenever they had to go to practice, I'd leave. And then one day I was like, hey, I'm going to go to practice with them. Show up to practice, and then they made me catch like 10 pins.
They put you to work.
It was a grind. I remember that day. And they invited me to come back. They're like, hey, man, like we'll let you come back, but it's not looking good. So that's fine. I just want to be here. And then we play like the fall games, like in JUCO. That's what's good about it, is like you play so many games, you're gonna get your opportunity.
You're gonna get.
You play so many games. So like whenever I played, I tried to play as hard as I could. And then like there's obviously a lot of scouts that show up to these games too. And I had a really good start to the season. I think we played our first tournament was like a big tournament for junior college. And I think I won like the batting title of that tournament. I think I batted like 700 with like 2 bombs.
Oh boy.
I did really good there. And then that was when I started getting the buzz. Like LSU called. They were the first ones to call. And I was eating Fruity Pebbles when they called. I'll never forget that either. I was like, oh God, I got to go outside. And then Auburn called, and they're like, hey man, we're going to come watch. I said, well, LSU's coming. Then I tried to commit to LSU on the spot. I was like, dude, I'll commit
do
right
whatever,
now,
yeah.
right now. You don't even need to come watch, bro. Like, because I was kind of scared that I wasn't. My grades weren't going to be good enough. So, like, I kind of selfishly wanted to commit to a big school just to say that I did. And if I
Yeah.
didn't make it academically, I could always hang on to that,
Yeah.
which is a terrible way to think about it.
But it's
But,
what
like,
kept you going.
That's what kept me going. I was like, I just
Yeah.
got to, I want to commit. I want that. And LSU was like, nah, man, we're going to come watch. I said, all right, dude, Auburn's going to be there. And, dude, we played at home. I remember I went 2 for 3 with a double, and then I threw a guy out. It was like an 0-2 count. I knew he was going to steal.
Oh, God.
It was a strike 3 swing and miss, and I still threw it just because I knew scouts were there, bro. You always throw.
You always throw it.
And, dude, that dude didn't even slide. It was one of my, I'd say it was one of my really good ones.
It was like the timing was like
it was perfect. It was bang. And I remember running in that dugout. I was like, I know I'm getting signed. Like, it was like you get that old power. All the boys, like, they know their scouts there.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you're getting signed. This is sick.
And you're like, Coach, take me out right now.
Yeah, so I was like, no more of that. I can't strike out.
Yeah,
today.
take me out right now.
So then after the game, I meet him in the parking lot, and it was LSU and Auburn, and my parents, my girlfriend was there. And it was cool, man. Like, they were standing next to each other, and they're like, "Man, that was a great game, and we had you at a 186 pop time, and we're excited we're gonna get in contact." I was like, "Cool, man." So, like, they leave, go home the next day, and then I start trying to set up my visits. And I wanted to go to LSU first. I didn't really know much about Auburn.
I didn't know much about Auburn until you
I didn't even know it was in Alabama, dude.
Oh,
I had no clue. It's so embarrassing to say that. But I was trying to go to LSU. I was always been an LSU fan, and but the thing or LSU was they were going to offer me 30%, but I couldn't sign until the summer.
Until they had sure guys
Like
were leaving.
that, and then make sure that my grades went through.
Oh,
so like,
okay,
especially like with the transfer of your grades, like some schools,
It was a lot stricter back then.
yeah, like some schools your grades don't transfer from San Jac to LSU, you lose
Yeah.
your credits. But
And
then
then you're
somehow
ineligible.
Auburn took all my credits, and it made it where it was easy to happen. Well, I was setting up my LSU commit or visit, and then Auburn texted me like middle in my math class, and they said, "Hey man, we need you to commit right now. If you don't commit, or if you commit, you can come on your visit next week, and if you don't like it, we'll honor your decommit." I was like, man, that's put me on the spot. But they offered me.
That's a good option though.
It is a good option. I was like, all right, I respect that. And they offered me 60%. I was like, oh, damn, that's double LSU. I was like, I'll just go on my visit. Went on my visit,
Loved it.
and it was like 24 degrees, dude, like 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Really?
I was like,
What month is this? January?
So probably February or early March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was like preseason.
their season's already started. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, it was unbearably cold there. I ended up watching the game in the locker room because it was so cold. I couldn't sit in the stands. Like, and I didn't know what state I was in really. We flew into Georgia, and that's all I knew. But then I went out with some guys that I played with in summer ball. Gabe, I don't know how to say his last name.
Solely.
No, Klossberg, something like that.
Okay.
They took me out. We had a real good time, and I really liked how when we in high school or whatever, we used to go to A&M to kind of hang out with our friends there. So that's all I really knew was how big A&M was, or how the
C-Stat.
environment of
Yeah,
C-Stat
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So when I go to Auburn, it was like way smaller, and it was like way more convenient. And it just felt real homey.
Is it a college town?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really small. Like, everything's really close to each other. There's only like 2 or 3 bars.
Oh,
but-
wow.
Yeah, and then they had Casey Mize, and I didn't really know much about him at the time. But hey, man, this guy's gonna be the guy that you'd be catching. Brings in a lot of traction, and I ended up committing, and I signed. The visit was so good, I didn't want to change it. And then it was like the other thing, like I said earlier, I was like, I wanted to be able to commit and not wait till LSU, because what if I lost my scholarship, or the percentage changes, or if I didn't get in, like, it would just kind of ruined it. So I was ready to get that part over with, so then I can just focus on playing the rest of the year, because then we had another 3 months of the season. So I committed and took a lot of the problems and stress away. Then you start playing. All right, now I can just play baseball.
Now you're back to baseball.
Now
yeah.
I'm back to baseball instead of just grinding every day, But yeah, that's really how it happened, man. It was crazy.
So, kind of having your back against the wall, I mean, like you said, from a psychological standpoint, you kind of took it in different levels. You were kind of just like, like I wasn't having fun. I know I kind of put myself in a hole academically. And then, my parents gave me that space and let me kind of figure it out on my own. And then you're like, and you kind of revitalize yourself. You're like, no, my back is against the wall. I do want this. That little kid in me is screaming like, it's now or never. And you're able to do it. Now, when you get back to Auburn that fall, right? Do you still feel like your back's against the wall? Now you got to prove it to a bunch of these SEC guys.
Yeah, because the guy that recruited me, his name is Brad Bohannon. He recruited me, and then he took the head coaching job at Alabama when I got there. So the guy that recruited me, the only guy that knew me, ended up leaving.
He's not at Alabama anymore, is he?
Nah, he's the one that got caught.
Yeah, got caught.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is I had a friend who went to Alabama, and I met him at in the NECBL for the Ocean State Waves, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I just lost my scholarship."
It's crazy how that went.
Yeah, because that went. I was like, dude, what? And then that whole situation fell out, and I was like, can he do that? He goes, no, but it doesn't matter because I got screwed anyway.
Yeah,
and he had to transfer out.
Yeah, it's bad. It was a bad deal.
Yeah.
But the guy, apparently he was like a really good recruiting coach,
I mean, he knows talent.
Yeah, like he recruited all those guys at Auburn. We had a really good year, and it's basically those are all his guys, you know. And then that's why Alabama started doing pretty good because how good of a recruiter he was. Like he started bringing in good guys, and they were on the come up until all that happened.
Yeah.
But
my boy that happened to, he was a catcher also.
Really?
Yeah. It does stink. But how was it your fall, solidifying your spot?
It was not good.
How many years you have eligibility at this point?
I had 2.
You 2, okay.
Yeah, so I had a medical red shirt at San Jack. Funny how that, because I didn't have any like mentors. I didn't have like the Lions Den. I didn't have none of that. Like I didn't do lessons. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't know. Like I played slow pitch softball that summer going into Auburn. Like I didn't play no summer ball.
You didn't see any live?
No live. I didn't do any lifting. Like I just did what I always did. Like we didn't have access.
You trusted your process.
Yeah, it was but that's all I knew.
That's all you knew. Yeah,
that's all I knew. We didn't have none of that at that time.
I understand that. Yep.
And we actually had a coach at Woody Williams. He was at San Jack. He was actually a guy that told me, he was, hey man, you better go in the best shape you've ever been in. And I kind of blew it off. I was like, every coach has always said that about me. I was like, I'll be all right. And I show up, man, and I remember the new guy. I was wearing a blue Nike shirt. It was a little bit too tight for me at the time. I was 220, 24% body fat when I showed up at Auburn. And I could see him looking at me like,
it's going to be tough for you.
Old chubby boy, he going to get it. Bro, it sucked. I remember the first day we start working out, they give us these tight Under Armour cutoff shirts. And I felt like they did it on purpose because I was kind of fat. And I think they were trying to embarrass me. I swear.
Yeah.
So we do a first workout, and I throw up everywhere, dude. Like, I've never done front squat in my life. I've never done hex bar deadlift. I've never done skater squats. And we were doing all this first day, and I was dying. I was so behind.
Are they doing like a circuit?
Yeah, circuit workout at Auburn in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad after that day. Then that Friday of the first week, we do a team workout every Friday. And we run the football stadium. And oh, my God, dude. My calves have never hurt that bad. That stadium, we run a stadium, and I was like, all right, don't quit. I was definitely the last guy by a long shot. I was embarrassed about it. But I was like, I'm not going to quit, though. I'm going to finish the workout.
Yeah.
I finished the workout, and I remember the coach put his arm around me. We were walking back to where everybody else was. He goes, what's it going to be, boy? Beer or baseball? I was like, you don't even drink beer, man. I'm just fat, dude. And
I'll be here tomorrow, coach.
So I remember we walked down to the Chick-fil-A sign, and we were like doing a little powwow, and my body just like locks up because I told myself, just finish it and you're done. And I end up passing out, throwing up. That was only half the workout.
That's only half?
Yeah, dude. We had to finish like with a med ball run around the spirals and run around the whole stadium. And I just tapped out because I told myself, I was like, dude, just finish this and you can let your body go. Yeah. I didn't know we had more, dude. So like now I missed, and we're in teams. Like I hurt my team because I couldn't help them. Someone had to do an extra rep. So then I was like the guy that I remember going to breakfast that day, and
chemistry is
nobody really looked at it. I was like, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But it was whatever. And then they put me in fat camp. So I didn't even work out with the team no more. I spent the rest of the fall working out by myself with an intern, doing all these like crazy workouts, minute intervals, just to get my heart rate up.
So this was your huge wake-up call.
Oh, huge. They're like 24%. I was like, that good or bad? They're like, that's terrible. I was like, oh, I guess I am pretty fat.
Yeah.
But so I worked out because in the fall too, like you don't really do team practices.
No, a lot of it's individual after like October.
I was just with the catchers, and I'd catch bullpen sometimes. But like no team practices, none of that. Then you start doing scrimmages towards the end.
That's your tryout.
And that's your tryout.
That's your tryout.
So like we did, I did real well. And I didn't really think I did good enough to solidify my spot.
But good enough to not get released.
Yes. And so like first game happens, and I had no clue that I was going to start. Didn't even think about it.
How's your chemistry with the team throughout the fall?
Like, not very good. Like I said, I just knew I was an outsider.
Still going into the spring.
Still going into the spring, I still felt rocky. Like I remember showing up for that after Christmas break for the fitness test. I busted my butt. I was like, I'm not going to be the bad guy this time.
Yeah, 100%.
I ended up probably being middle of the group. Like there was like some dudes that didn't even make the conditioning workout. So that made me look good.
So
And
that
that was
made you-
probably a good thing for the coaches to see too. That hey, I was
Huge
doing
improvement. Yeah.
I was running a lot. I was like, I'm gonna run a lot. I got in shape, killed that conditioning workout, and then I remember seeing my name on the roster for the opening day starter. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, you were the starter.
I was
on
starting,
opening day.
and I never caught Casey Mize because Casey Mize took the fall off, so they had no chemistry there. And he goes, "Hey man, like the only reason that you're playing today is because of me. Like I put you in the lineup because I want you to catch me." I was like, "Right."
You hadn't caught him before.
I
mean, you've done both.
maybe
ends.
caught a soft 85 from him, a little touch and feel,
Okay.
but nothing really at all. Maybe 50 pitches, bro, honestly. And so then I remember telling him, because he was kind of doubting me. I was like, bro, I went to JUCO. Just watch me ball. And I went 2 for 3 with a bomb. And I caught a good game, too.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're my dog for that. And then ever since that day, we were tight.
So when it comes to that, I mean, college or Auburn, when you played, batting average 258. All right. Slugging percentage 388. And then on base percentage almost 500.
Oh, really?
Almost 500. Might be those walks.
Probably
But-
them walks.
You and like I want to touch on that. You being able to do that also underrated note. You hit 11 bombs, which is the first catcher to do that since '99. You took him back to the '90s.
You know that stat?
You took him back to the '90s, and I think that is absolutely sick because you used to have some '90 walk-ups.
Oh,
Walk-up signs back in
I
the
was
day.
good about the
Yeah.
90s, dude, yeah.
Well, for those of y'all that don't know, back in high school, this dude walked up to Magic Stick.
It's
And I was-
fire, though.
I was like, my dad was like, is that Brett's walkout? He's like, did he choose that? I go, you know,
Oh,
he
yeah.
chose that walkout.
So you guys had some fat pat,
yeah.
too. Like,
And my dad was like, I fucking love it. He
Mhm.
goes, I like it. But no, you were able to do that. But do you think your approach at the plate and you being such a good hitter constitutes from you being able to catch a game?
yeah, you start knowing tendencies, and then it's just like, I spent so many times with pitchers, I know how hard it is for them to throw strikes and wanting to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a dead red hitter, fastball. You throw me a fastball, I was hitting it early. Like I knew I didn't want
The
to see the
philosophy,
curveball.
baby.
Yeah, you want to hit the curveball, hit the fastball.
Yeah.
I was trying to tag it early as possible.
So, I guess what I also want to ask is like, when do you think you could confidently call a full game by yourself?
Man, I've been doing that since select baseball before high school. I got really lucky. I didn't know at the time, but like every coach I had, they let me call the game. High school, junior college, I called the game. My 3rd year at San Jac, Woody Williams called the game. That was the first coach to ever call games for me, but I learned a lot from that. And then when I go to Auburn was like the only SEC school that like let their catcher call the game.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
surprised they even let you
Like
do
I had
that.
the earpiece and all, but they're like, "Hey man, like as a part of the development on the catching side, like you need to call your own game." I was like, "Cool, I've been doing it my whole life."
Do you think it's absolutely imperative that every catcher knows how to be able to call a proper
Oh yeah,
game? And
it's a big difference.
Do you think? Okay, so what do you base your calling on? Your pitcher, or do you base it on your? And I'm talking SEC. Do you base it on your pitcher? Do you base it on who you're facing?
Who I'm facing, and then like my pitcher strengths, and then I also call a lot of games on like what I didn't want to hit at that time. I'm like, oh, first pitch curveball, I wouldn't hit it, so I'd try to do that to get ahead, and then I'd try to scheme him. I'd talk to him, try to get him, and whenever I'd talk to him is like when I was trying to sneak a fastball or an off speed, then
The
I would try to set
psychological
him
warfare.
outside. Yeah, I was really good at that.
And then, do you have like certain guys that you mark? Like, for example, I mean, let's say the 2018 Offensive Player of the Year for the SEC. Like, are you being like, hey, we got a certain plan for this?
Oh yeah, we don't throw to that guy.
Yeah, where
Like, it's like just like what I learned early is like don't let the best player beat you.
all right.
Like let someone else win. If we can guy on second and third with 1 out or 2 outs, like knowing that I don't have to pitch this guy was a really big learning curve to me. Like, oh, I don't have to throw this guy. We can walk him and we'll be in a good spot.
and
Like
here's,
that, as simple as it sounds, like
Yeah.
that went a long way for me.
that's actually pretty good advice. But a question that I always wanted to know is, how do you pitch to a team that's on fire? Let's say you got your guys, and they got their best. Your Casey's got his best stuff, but this team's on fire. Like you saw them play, in the super regional right before or whatever, and these dudes had 10 hits. Their team since playoffs, everyone's batting over 350.
Mhm.
At least 1 through 7 or something like that. How do you go in and mitigate the damage switching? Because you're not going to stop them.
Yeah.
But you got your guy, and you could definitely limit the damage.
Mhm.
But how do you?
It's
go
like
and
you
call
just
it?
gotta know like a Friday night guy. It's like, all right, we just need one run on offense. So we need to get every out, try to get limited. But like a Sunday guy, like there's probably gonna be 3 to 5 runs scored.
Mhm.
So like you can't panic when they score 3 spot in the first, because at the end of the day they're probably gonna score 3 to 5. Now we have as an offense, we know that too. That hey, this is a guy that we have to have better at bats to help him on the pitching side. So then it's just like you see the turn of the at bats. So like when Casey Mize is pitching, you don't necessarily have to go 3-4 and get 3 RBIs to win. You kind of those guys that are so that let you takes a lot of weight off your shoulders as an infielder or a hitter. You're like, I really don't have much on my plate today.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's basically going to handle it. And then those other guys that you're like, all right, I'm going to step up, and you kind of psych yourself up, get the team going, and then like your Sundays are kind of your good days.
Yeah.
But and then it's also hard to get a hit off any Friday night guy. That's why the Friday night guy. So like majority of the time there's maybe 3 to 5 hits on a Friday. Saturday maybe 6 to 8 hits. Sunday there's going to be about 15 hits total on both sides. So that's how I kind of looked at it. Was
So good. Yeah. I mean, you break it down. When you really break it down, it's a game. It's out of the game. I mean, like
pitch matters.
every pitch matters. Every beat matters. Every inning matters. Every game matters. And it's kind of amazing seeing that as you grew up. And you're just like, you start a game right, but within that game, when you take the field, there's probably approximately like 50 battles you do per position. Like,
But I think I learned this too. Is what's crazy is the game is we'll say 2 hours. You get 3 bats. Each at bat, you see about 3 or 4 pitches. Each pitch it's about 2 seconds on each pitch. So like 4 pitches, that's 8 seconds of total focus. You're involved in the game. If you get you get 4 at bats, you're involved for 12 seconds of the game with your 4 at bats. You get 1 ball hits you at third. You get 4.2 seconds so from third to first. Now your seconds plus 4 is that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seconds total in the game that you're actually involved. So like that's what
you practice with.
That's
you live for.
Yes. I'm like, all right, like what am I gonna do with my seconds? That you don't get 9 innings, you get 12 seconds.
Yeah. Math guy though.
I'm not a math guy.
Back on July when you were getting drafted.
Yeah, so we had practice at like 10 a.m. Draft started at 10 a.m. for day 3. And it's like the draft process. They call you the day before. They're like, we kind of agree on the money. They're like, hey, we're thinking about drafting you for this price. Would you accept it? I said, absolutely. And they said, all right, we'll take you around for the 12th round to 12th to 18th round. Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was supposed to get drafted in the 12th to 18th round in between there from the A's. And then usually they call you the day before or day of the draft. Like, hey, maybe the money changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you still take it? They kind of want to double check. And if you say yes, then they draft you within like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that kind of stunk was like our coaches took our phones that day because they wanted to practice. They wanted us to focus on super regional, which I understand. I'm like, it is bigger. But the way I thought about it was, I was like, hey, man.
So it's your future at the end of the day.
I came here to get drafted. I came here like I needed that. I didn't really necessarily need the school. But like I'd say I needed the money. That's all I really cared about. But it's just like, hey man, I gave you a full year of like my best. Like we won. If we go to the playoffs, the coach gets a bonus. I'm like, hey man, like
School gets a bonus.
I got you. Let me have one day. That's all I had. I just wanted one day. Didn't really quite get it, but we ended up scrimmaging inter squad that day, and I was catching. And I felt a little sour about it because I was like the starting guy. I shouldn't be catching. And I end up, so the day's going on, and like I haven't gotten drafted yet. And when you got drafted, coach would stop practice, announce it to the team, hey, third baseman just got drafted. I'll give him hugs, cheer him up.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I ain't heard my name yet.
This is day 1?
This is day 3.
This is day
so
3.
Last
Day. Okay.
So then I remember a freshman was lefty hit me in the elbow with his backswing. I kind of lost it. And I like walked off the field. I was kind of emotionally done, checked out. And I went in there, got my phone, had like 30 missed calls. Call them. They're like, yeah, man, like you missed. Called my agent. And then when I had after I called my agent, I got drafted by the Blue Jays within about 5 minutes. I was like, all right, thank goodness.
We at least got
it done, you know. And I was really excited about the Blue Jays because the first thing I thought was the colors. I was like, I like red, white, and blue. I can rock that.
Yeah,
you know? Like green's not really my color.
Why look good in all
I like blue, you know.
Yeah.
Blue.
100%.
And it was cool. I was super excited about it. Like, there's no doubt about it. But the only thing that sucks, like, I really wish I would have spent that time with my parents, my wife, girlfriend at the time.
More of a family.
Like I wish I would have,
holistic
because I had to
moment.
do that separately. I was underneath the stadium on the phone, and I just didn't have any.
It's not as glamorous
It's
as
not
you
as
thought.
glamorous. Like I have my boys, but like
Yeah.
the way I left practice in the middle of it, kind of being sour about it, wasn't a really good look. Like where the guys aren't gonna like
Either
be-
way, it
Yeah, I
wasn't
was
good.
really selfish for that. But like that was probably my only selfish moment, and I felt like this is the time to be selfless, But
Especially, I mean, day 3, like a phone call for you is either, hey, you get it or you don't.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey, they ended up taking you anyway.
mm-hmm.
It's not more negotiations, more so like, do you want to? Do you want?
And I was
do
like,
you
yeah,
wanna
I wanna
leave?
play.
Yeah, I want to go.
I don't want to come back to school, man.
Yeah. And so you ended up finishing out your baseball career with the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What came after?
What came after was I got married about 6 months after that.
Yeah.
And then I started working with my dad construction, and then I got a call from my cousin that had a kid that was 8 at the time. He said, hey, man, you want to coach your son or your cousin? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. And
Uh-huh.
that's really how it started, man. And I reconnected with some guys that I played college ball with, Rex Hill. Hired him, and we've been working together for 7 years straight now. And it's just, I never thought I'd be doing this for as long as I am, but it's just so
Right.
fun. And it's really all I know. It's all our passion. And then it's just like those experiences of like the academic probation, the being an
All the
underdog,
life lessons
no,
you
no
have.
scholarship, like going through all these hoops. I'm like, that's what we need to teach to these kids.
Yeah.
And that's like what I wish I had. I wish somebody like that I can believe that did it, that went down those roads. I'm like, hey man, just because you failed and you got kicked off your team for bad grades doesn't necessarily mean that's over.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I think too is like God has a plan where that happened for a reason, because I probably wouldn't have been able to go to Auburn my sophomore year at San Jac if I wouldn't have got put on probation, because I probably would have been ready.
Yeah.
So I had to go through all that, and then that adversity that I learned from it, and how to take care of my business, and that restart that I had really probably kicked start my junior year or third year at San Jac to Auburn to pro ball. So like everything's got a reason,
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy how it all comes full circle. How
Oh,
we're
it's
sitting
full
here
circle.
today.
Yeah.
Like we've all been on our each individual journeys, going to, college ball and having our shot at pro ball and coming back here. And it's kind of amazing to see it go all full circle. But now going from player to coach, right? What are some things that you've learned?
Just slow down, and it's just like you're not gonna make the big leagues tomorrow. That was a big one for me. It's just like, yeah, man, like you had a good day, and you come up here and you need to put good days together.
Consistency
You,
is
you
key.
get 3 or 4 days, 4 days a week that are good. You won the week. You do that every week, you win the month. You
Yeah.
start winning months, you start winning years. I'm like, you just got to keep stacking good days. It's not necessarily just because you had a good day, all your problems are fixed. It's like you still got to show up every day. It's now how can you do it consistently, and that's what I try to bring to the table to the kids is it's not a quick fix. It's just like a process. That's why we like the Lions Den. It's like this is a 6-day-a-week access for kids to get better,
Yeah.
Like I've done the lessons, like they hit me once a week, but I don't know what they do the other 6 days.
Right.
And then if a coach calls me, hey man, we want to recruit this kid. I know you work with him. How is he? I don't know, man. I see him 30 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Family seems cool. Kid works hard with me, but I don't know what his weight training is. But like here, we can see all that. We can see how he goes about his work, his prep, his stretching, his lifting, his process. And so when a coach does call, we can say those things like, hey man, I see this kid 6 days a week. This is what he does. And this will easily transition to your program,
So
Like-
this facility at the Lions, then you guys got all the tools, you got the weight room equipment, the facilities, everything you got to be great, and you guys got ex-pro coaches, you got ex-pro guys that still work out, or current pro guys that still work out, current college guys that work out, and then top of the line high schoolers that come around from all the areas in
Yep.
Houston. Like, what's that like, and how are you able to, in your eye, I guess in y'all's words, able to form like the perfect baseball player here?
There's really I guess there is a recipe to it, but it's just like, for me, like the guys that I looked up to, like Adam Dunn, Jordan Harrison, Chris Miller, like seeing what those guys, I always wanted to do that. So like as a kid, you see a kid that's here that's committed to University of Texas, you're like, man, I want that. But you don't know what he did to get that.
Right.
So as a kid, you dream about it, but now if you work out with him here, like you see what he does 5 days a week. And
Mhm.
you're like, oh, if I want to go to Texas, this is what I have to do. Because
Right.
those guys that are there, this is what they're doing. Like for me, that's why I feel like I was so behind at Auburn. It's like I didn't have guys in my area to watch work out to see how they do it. I decided just everyone was doing their own thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't know. And that's why I feel like I lost 6 months of development at Auburn because I was so behind on that part, you know? And that's what I want. And then I was all amazed with the facilities. I was just a month behind just looking at everything.
Yeah.
And then getting these kids are used to the technology, all the cool fancy stuff where they don't bat an eye when they get there. They go straight to work.
Yeah. So that's all so impressive. And like, I think the kid inside me can only imagine what would have happened if we had this when we were growing up. But in your own words, what do you think a kid needs to have, or what do you think it takes for a kid in high school to go play college ball?
It's the passion, man, and the dream. And just because you don't get the offer you want at a high school doesn't mean that you're going to stay there. You know, there's other options like going to JUCO. Like I always wanted to go to the SEC, but like I didn't get those opportunities at a high school. So that's why I went JUCO so I could restart that. You know, I bet on myself. Hey, I'm going to go to San Jac and I'm going to try to restart. Maybe A&M will sign me my second year there, you know, like, but if you go to a school, commit to D1, D2, D3 at a high school just to say you did, and you get stuck there 4 years, you kind of just killed your dream right there.
100%.
You know, like you didn't really bet on yourself. You know, that's really what it takes.
And then on a tougher level, what do you think it takes from a college kid to go play pro ball?
Oh man, wow.
Because that's not talked about enough.
I think that's the focus part. Is like because I went through it. Is like you change when you go there because you get a new lifestyle, you get some money. And then like
you're semi-pro basically.
The goal's over. You're like, because that's one thing I regret is like I always dreamed about getting drafted. I never thought past that. So when I felt like I got drafted, got my money,
you achieved it. You're complete.
Then I said, now what? Yeah. And then I saw, 5 years is what it's going to take to make it to the league. That's a grind, man. I've been grinding for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if that is what held me back because I was still trying to make it, but I was like, maybe I didn't dream big enough. Or
maybe you sold yourself short.
I sold myself short, and I was satisfied with it, you know. But like those guys in the pro ball, man, they're so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What kind of separated? So like, I mean, you played against those guys. What was the silver lining between guys that succeeded and guys that didn't?
I feel like it was just like the mentors that they had. Like say they had most of those guys have hitting coaches like that they see all the time or they've seen for years, and then like to prepare them on like tips and tricks on how to have an edge or have an advantage in an at bat or like how to have an advantage in pro ball. Like I didn't have none of that. I remember my first day of pro ball, I changed my swing to be like Josh Donaldson. I'm like, I went to a leg kick, bat on the shoulder. I'm like, dude, what was I doing?
Yeah.
But like I didn't have any mentors. Like I didn't have none of that to like tell me.
You were deadly when you were simple though.
Yeah, that's when I made the bread, man. And then I was like, why would I change that? But like I didn't have any guy to say, hey man, don't change you. You got drafted being you, be you.
Yeah, you know,
don't try to be Josh Donaldson.
That's a very good point because when I was in college, I mean, I must have been a freshman, and we had this guy named Matteo. He was an absolute beast. He ended up almost tying the home run record. Dude just swung out of his butt. Look, he's from Massachusetts. He acted like a California guy. Hair flow down to here, super laid back, like stoner vibe. But he like that was just his personality. And he threw like 92, 93 across the diamond, like just an absolute hose piece. And I was struggling, and we were going right in the middle of conference play. And I went from like being kid on the freshman with the highest batting average on the team to like, now I'm batting 9-hole. And dude, coach is just riding me, and I'm trying to make an adjustment. I'm trying to fix something, you know, not just to appease my coaches, but also to appease myself. Cause I'm like, I don't know why, like, I was like, bro, I can't get the ball out of the infield. All of a sudden you're telling me, I can't get the ball out of the infield? If I can't get a ball out of the infield, I'm in trouble. Like, like if I can't hit past 90 feet, like I'm in trouble. And so I think I'll never forget, my parents were coming for the St. Louis game, and I was just like, I was just down. I was just so angry. And I'm like, if I don't freaking go 2-4, like something's gonna happen. Like, it's building. And we're playing in St. Louis, and they play in the middle of the city in the skyline. I remember taking fly balls, you know, during BP. And I don't know if you've ever played St. Louis, but sometimes, especially when there's a certain overcast, that ball hits up and it goes into the city. And it's gone. Yeah. It's gone. It's just gray. And I'm just having balls just land all over me. And I was just standing there, and my coach kind of just sees me not moving. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just trying to gather myself. And I had Matteo come over and talk to me. He goes, JP. He goes, dude. He goes, what got you here? And I was like, all the stuff that I did in high school, like, you know, just like looking for my fastball, like, you know, because our coaches were huge on like the mentality and the approaches, and like everyone has a different approach, but they were really trying to shove, you know, specific scenario approaches down people's minds, and I didn't necessarily agree with it.
Yep.
Like you know, some people, like some coaches want you to change how you stand in the box. Like, hey, knock it down to 60% effort, choke up, get on the plate, and like we want you to stay through the zone, no take no full hack. I can't operate like that. I've trained only to swing one way my whole life, and you're telling me to do 3 different adjustments, and on top of that, this guy has 2 strikes on me. I was like, I'm gonna fold every time. I'm gonna fold. Like, and you know, Matteo told me just do what you did. Like, not like it's okay to like understand what coach is trying to tell you, but like if it's not succeeding, it's not succeeding, and they're not gonna stay with you until you succeed. I was like, you know what? That's true. I was like, let me just go back to what made it work.
Back to it,
Bro.
You hit good, ain't nobody gonna
3
say
4.
nothing. Yeah.
3 4. I was like, you know what, dude, you're right. Why am I doubting myself? I've lived in this body my whole life, and I'm taking something that they said, which is not necessarily wrong. You know, it's not necessarily like the wrong or right thing, but it just wasn't working for me. And I was able to make it work to a point where I could, you know, and I think that was part of the growth. But yeah, if that's your advice on being able to, like, this is what it takes to get to the minors, then I think, yeah, it's 100% great advice, because you made it. And you did it. You achieved the dream, you know. Out of, I think, all of us that played in the same area, only like 2 or 3 of us ended up going pro.
Isn't that crazy, man?
It's so crazy. But a lot of us were there in the run, you know. But Brett, man, I appreciate you taking the time with us today, dude.
This is fun, man.
This is so fun. We're gonna get you back on. Chicha will get you some more gear for our stuff, and appreciate it, big dog.
Appreciate
it.
you.
It was good to see you.
And all right.